Dr. Homebrew is brought to you by 5 Star Chemicals, providing safety and cleaning supplies for brewing, distilling, and winemaking at 5starchemicals.com.
Doctor, look!
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
All right, Dr. Homebrew, thanks for joining us. We have a pretty good show lined up for you. I guess, I assume, I don't know. They just push me in the chair and go, here's the button.
How do you know? None of us has said a damn thing yet. How do you know what the show's going to be like?
I have a gut feeling.
Optimism? Lee. You're an optimist.
I'm an optimist.
You're a glass half full kind of guy.
I'm an optometrist.
I brought beer, so that's
No.
not looking good for you.
That's true.
And also, how do you assume you're welcoming people back? You always say welcome back. How do you assume that someone's not just randomly tuning into show 30-something and, let's just try random show 30-something?
And what are you doing with that hair
Optimism.
all over your face?
I don't know.
And what kind of socks are you wearing?
I'm wearing
Your
mismatched
fans
socks.
want to know.
Yeah, all that
They
hair
do.
on your face, it looks awful.
And what's this brain oil band shirt you're wearing?
Wow.
Is there some weird guys in that band that you know? Or
I mean, the shirt's the coolest thing on that side of the room.
When was the last time the
true.
Sharks won anything?
Recently.
And who cares?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I wonder what they're doing right now.
I don't know.
Nobody out there can see this stuff, so this is really weird.
This is the
boring
All About
talk.
JP show.
It's like everybody's in my mind right
See?
now.
That's right. It's all
Yeah.
about you. Is this what you had thought when you said this is going to be a great show?
No.
All right, here we go.
What I meant by a great show is we have some commercial beer to drink.
Oh, well, we do have that.
Right.
Are you saying that commercial beer is better than homebrew?
Yes.
Oh, he stuck his foot in it.
I was talking to my good, close personal friend, Push Eject. And he was talking about, we're talking about brewing and whatever, whatever bros talk about. And he's like, I like my home brewing setup right now. I go, yeah, what are you doing? Anything you like different? And he goes, it basically involves me going down to the store and buying beer. And I go, wow, that's pretty good. And he goes, yeah, it's pretty consistent. And, it makes me happy. It works pretty well. I go, good for you.
His homebrew setup's great when it's just sitting in the garage, not getting used.
Yeah.
And he's going and buying beer.
The
Doesn't it take
kegerator
away-
still sees use, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still get time with the kids. Yeah.
Which reminds me, so we have a brand new sponsor on the show, Pico Brew, the Zymatic.
Peekaboo.
If you guys have ever heard about this, it made a couple waves every now and then in the home brewing circles. It's a countertop brewing system, where essentially you brew 2.5 gallons, and you load up all your ingredients in this kind of plexiglass insert or whatever. Load it in the machine.
They don't come in little pods.
They don't
put
come in
inside
little.
of it.
Well, I don't know, sort of, kind of. I mean, the grain goes in a little thing, and then
Okay.
the hops go in little like mesh cartridges.
Yeah, I've seen some of the articles about this thing.
Yeah,
It's
and
cool.
you load up your recipe online. You do your whole deal. Load it up in the machine. Wi-Fi, super easy to use, and you push the button, and then you can go and have a life. You don't need to slave over a friggin' kettle. So I have one. And I've been using it, and I friggin' love it. I love it.
Really?
Yeah.
You've
Yeah.
been using this?
What
I
have you
have.
gotten
I've used it
done?
twice.
So
What have you
bring in
gotten
some beer.
done while brewing?
Well, I
That you can tell us about.
I took naps. I got caught up on season 4 of Dexter. No. I hung my Christmas lights. I cleaned out my gutters. Had an argument with my girlfriend. And then for the second batch, I double batched. Warren, you came over. You and Candace, your lovely wife. Slave controller.
Yeah. She let me come over.
She let you come over.
Yeah.
And we played games. Like, while we were brewing, I was having fun with friends.
Not that brewing's not fun, but...
Brewing's not fun? Like, come on, really? You're sitting in a garage for the entire day.
Friends
you can't
are fun,
do
too.
anything.
You still have the smell of the brewing going on in your house. It still smells like that nice
Right.
mash.
It did make your house
activity
smell
going
really
on.
nice.
Yeah.
Walking in and having the mash just going
Yeah.
right then.
Instead of like failure, it
what?
smelled like
Next
ESB.
time you do this,
Yeah.
come over and clean my gutters.
I can't do it.
Yeah, you could.
I would have
to
time.
drive out to my house, clean the gutters, and get back.
I hate cleaning gutters.
That's
oh my
why
god.
I'm asking.
There's no way. But check them out. I mean, if you're serious about brewing some beer, and it's consistent also because the numbers are the same. You don't have to worry about adjusting the ball valve or for your runoff or like Casey. Excuse me. On our last show, you bumped the burner up to high or whatever, and boiled off some beer. You don't have to worry about that with the Pico Brew.
No.
So when did you get this thing?
Last month.
Is this part of the... Did you buy this?
No, it's part of the sponsorship. It's part of the sponsorship.
Why does all that stuff go to you?
They were nice enough because I approached them with it. They were nice enough to give me a machine to use because I've never used it before. And if I was like, look, if I'm going to talk about it,
you got to experience.
I got to experience it, right?
That's right.
And the amount of space it takes up is tiny compared to any amount of even if you're just cooking on your stovetop in your kitchen.
Yeah.
It takes up less space than just a 10-gallon kettle.
Absolutely.
And so it does everything in less space. And so if you have an apartment or anything like that...
Good for urban life. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's self-contained, and it does everything in a smaller package than you could get from anywhere else.
Yeah.
You can do your own recipes on this thing?
You can do your own recipes. You can also pull recipes from the cloud.
Ooh.
Have you ever heard of the cloud? I don't know if you've heard of the cloud.
McLeod Brewing?
McLeod Brewing.
Right.
So, like, Annie Johnson, the homebrewer of the year last year, or the year before, 2013, she is helping develop some recipes for the Pico Brew, for the Zymatic. And so you can grab her recipes. You can grab other people's recipes. You can upload your recipes to the community.
Really? They got Annie's recipes for this thing?
Mm-hmm. That's what I did.
That's worth buying the thing right there.
It kind of is, right?
Yeah.
I was really impressed because you pick a recipe and then you just transfer it to you hit transfer recipe to your library, yes or no, and you hit yes, and then it's in your library. And then when you turn the machine on, it automatically syncs up with your library and it loads all your recipes in the machine. So you can sit there and flick the dial and go, oh, this is the one I'm doing. And it's right there. I don't know. I was really impressed with it.
Sweet.
All Wi-Fi. So anyway, check them out, picobrew.com. They're really great. If you have any questions, send an email to Annie. She'll answer them all. There's a bunch of videos, community up there. It's I don't know. It's a fascinating thing.
Awesome.
Pico Brew. So I have some beer in a carboy. I should keg it this weekend. And next show, I'll bring it in. I'll bring it in and we'll drink it.
Make sure it's caked by Saturday.
It was fermenting in your closet.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't taste great, it's not any reflection on the Pico Brew system itself.
No, it's probably my sanitary
The fact that
condition.
the radioactive fluorescent closet has some issues.
Well, I've been it's covered, and I don't have it in a carboy bag.
Oh,
I don't have any way to really regulate that right now.
Sure.
It's not the middle of the summer here,
That's true.
Oh yeah,
it has a chance.
my house is like 64. That's great.
Should be
That's
fine.
perfect for an ESB or whatever. I think it's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, Warren, piece of shit.
I was just making it better for Pico Brew when it doesn't taste very good.
You don't know that it's not going to taste good.
Just assume just because it's JP's beer that it's not going to taste very
Well,
good.
I've had a few of his beers, so
I've had a few years too.
right. We're about to hear how bad mine is.
Whatever.
So.
I did hit my numbers.
Yeah.
Dead on.
Nice.
Yeah, with a little. Cool. They have a little like valve where you can take a needleless syringe. Yeah. And you just screw it in, and you can pull out, so it's enough for samples for not hydrometer
It's
samples,
got
but
a
refractometer samples.
sampling port.
Yeah,
Very fancy.
it's pretty slick,
Yeah.
man. You'll dig it. Anyway, check it out. You guys will enjoy it. I'm sure you will. But speaking of sanitary conditions to brew, I do want to tell you about our key sponsor, 5 Star. You go to 5starchemicals.com, PBW, Star San. These are the people who are responsible for that and responsible for you, most likely, brewing really good beer because your equipment is clean and sanitary. You can't... And that's right. You can't do both at the same time, people. This is not true. No. So
well, you could clean one thing and sanitize another thing at the same time.
and then it's a wash, right? That should work.
Right.
I think Brian's smarter than he looks.
As long as you end with the sanitary thing, it's fine, right?
You're all right.
Yeah.
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 But check them out, 5starchemicals.com. And they actually kind of a pretty cool little write-up on their website about why you can't clean and sanitize at the same time. You have to clean, and then you have to sanitize. They have powerful chemicals, but nothing's that powerful. Come on, get out of here. Get out of here with that stuff.
You're talking crazy talk.
God, yeah. Why is Lee flexing? No?
Yeah.
Oh, you're powerful? Oh.
Lee's also powerful.
He's also very
strong
powerful.
man.
Yeah. So today on the show we have one special guest. His name is Warren Boltz, and he works at Heretic Brewing Company.
Yep.
Wait.
I should stop
Warren
saying
what?
that. Warren Heretic at Billups Brewing cover. What? Who
He
are
has
you?
a last name.
A guy from somewhere who does something
Yeah, at a place.
Beardy,
in case you guys don't know.
Beardy. He's a ringer.
And he is a ringer. But he was actually the last one to brew on my setup, on my homebrew setup, because I don't brew anymore.
Your non-Pico setup.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think I'm going to brew on my system anymore. I think I'm just going to Pico brew it.
And before I brewed last time, was I the person who also brewed the time before that?
No, I think I had to brew something in between.
Oh.
That, like, smoke beer or
That's
something.
Killer
for you.
smoke beer.
Yeah. That almost killed you.
I never tried any of it.
Oh, you didn't?
You haven't brought us any.
You threatened to bring
you
it.
keep asking.
I don't have it anymore.
You're not missing out.
Look, that for the Brewcaster Challenge, I should have won that. If I had Brian Lee there, who actually knew what they were doing, that would have been much better turnout. And you know what? Screw everybody for going, I don't like either of them. Well, yeah, okay, great. Then get out of here.
I didn't like either of them.
Yeah, then you should have abstained.
I judged one of the Brewcaster
but I had
challenges.
to vote.
I think it was older though. It was before that one.
Yeah,
Life
you guys were like in
is
the
not
It was like
second or
Imperial
whatever.
Red or something.
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Life is just not fair.
And,
It's not fair.
Justin beat you then too. Huh?
No, I beat Justin.
Oh, you beat Justin that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that's how I got to brew
My memory is poor.
against McDowell. But I don't know. I liked mine better anyway. But anyway, so we have Warren. He brought a Hellas in, and we're going to talk to him about that because not only does Warren likes to brew so much that he gets paid to do it, then he pays to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, very few brewers, actually, professional brewers, still brew at home. Like they just get so busy with the thing and the day to day. It's like, just get it all in at work, and
And that's it.
Yeah, it's a hard battle because my wife definitely makes the argument of you get paid to do this during the week. I'm not going to let you spend your weekends doing it. But then I just go over to Jason's and I don't have to hear her tell me how I can't do it.
Just tell her it's part of being the consummate, dedicated professional.
Right. Yeah.
How else
That's
am I
what
going to
it
get better
is.
at my craft?
Right.
I need to get this going.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were doing some office job where you're expected to behave like a professional, you'd be putting in lots of extra hours doing work.
Sure.
Yeah.
So why not
Right.
do it where you actually get some benefit?
Right.
pilot
Right.
batches at JP's.
Right.
That's right.
Sounds wonderful. So we're going to try your Hellas, Warren.
Great.
And we're going to figure that out. And then we're going to do a commercial calibration. It's been a couple shows since we've done that. And one of the beers that we have is widely available throughout the nation
Now,
Ba-ba-da-ba.
right now. It probably will be in January 1 when this
Probably,
hits.
Yeah.
Celebration from Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, which is probably the best IPA I've ever had in my entire life.
I was going to say your favorite IPA.
Yeah, because it's a red dry hop thing. I don't know.
I prefer how it tastes in February. I buy it in December.
Do you really?
Yeah.
You're one of those people?
I let all the hops settle out, and then it's more just a red.
it's kind of an amber ale, a red ale. Yeah.
Right.
Why don't you just buy a red ale?
Most of them,
I don't like red ales either.
You don't like red ales, but you wait for the IPA to become one.
I don't know that I wait for. Well,
Yeah, you do. You
I forget.
literally
about it.
just said that you
I
wait
forget
for
about
it.
it in the back of my fridge because I didn't like how it tasted when I bought it.
Get out of here, Warren. You don't know
All right.
the frig you're talking about.
No. Break.
So we're gonna take a break, and then when we come back, we're gonna jump into Warren's Hellas, right?
Yes.
That's what we're doing first. Okay, cool. It's Dr. Homebrew, everyone. Stay tuned, and when we come back, we're going to be making fun of Beardy.
Since the first time the Brewing Network microphones turned on, More Beer was behind it. More Beer sponsors the programming on the BN because, like you, they love brewing. And like the Brewing Network, they love sharing their knowledge. Morebeer.com isn't just a website to place your next equipment or ingredient order. Morebeer.com also gives you access to free beer information that will make you a better brewer. Go to morebeer.com and click into the Learning Center. You'll find podcasts, technical facts, video tutorials, and more, including access to The Buzz, More Beer's social network of more than 5,000 members. And some of them might even be crazier about beer than you are. Get over to morebeer.com today and take advantage of The Buzz, the forum, the Learning Center, and make sure you're signed up to receive the newest More Beer catalog. More Beer, bringing you absolutely everything for beer making.
Hey, dude, you know what beer this is?
No, all the labels are falling off.
Yeah, or the ink is run.
Well, if it's a pale ale, you're good, but stay away from the quote-unquote Belgian.
Oh, man, this guy needs to get some grog tags.
Grog tags are reusable, write-on, wipe-off, commercial-grade bottle labels for your brew. The guys at Grog Tag are homebrewers. They wanted great-looking, sturdy labels for your bottles, buckets, carboys, kegs, and growlers. They also wanted a label that not only looks good, but can be easily removed and reapplied during bottling without that nasty glue residue being left behind. No residue, water-resistant, and ice chest approved. Grog tags stay on in water or an ice chest, and they stay legible. Visit grogtag.com to customize your label or coaster from dozens of different templates for free and see how awesome your bottles can look.
It's that pseudo-Belgian.
Yeah, we're getting him some grog tags, dude.
Grog Tag. At least your beer will look good. grogtag.com. Are you a member of the American Homebrewers Association? Well, you should be. Members of the AHA can focus on brewing beer, and the AHA takes care of the rest. The American Homebrewers Association advocates on behalf of homebrewers like you to legalize the hobby in all 50 states and make sure that beer laws make sense. Plus, there are many great benefits that come with your AHA membership, like AHA member deals that give you awesome deals at bars, restaurants, breweries, and more. Zymergy Magazine and Zymergy for tons of articles, how-tos, easy-to-follow recipes, and news about the hobby you love, and access to the members-only content on homebrewersassociation.org. But the AHA can't do it without your support. Join today so the American Homebrewers Association can keep fighting for your homebrewing rights. Visit homebrewersassociation.org or join now from the homepage of the Brewing Network website. Relax. Don't worry. It's the American Homebrewers Association.
Starting a brewery is not for the faint of heart. It's definitely a labor of love. If you're not going to give it 100%, don't bother.
Brewers Publications is proud to present the Brewers Association Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery by Elysian Brewing's Dick Cantwell. Business plans, financing, sustainability, and more. This book takes you through the planning and execution needed to turn the dream of craft brewing into a reality. Whether you want to open a brew pub or a packaging brewery, learn the professional side of ingredients, wastewater, quality, and how to build the craft brewery of the future. The Brewers Association Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery, available now from Brewers Publications and brewerspublications.com.
Hi, I'm Jason Harris, the proud owner here at Keystone Homebrew Supply. We're thrilled to be entering our 20th year of supplying this great industry. And to show you, the Brewing Network Army, how much we appreciate your support, we're offering you 10% off your first order on our website, KeystoneHomebrew.com. Just use coupon code BNARMY at checkout, and I'll get your order out the same day. My goal at Keystone Homebrew Supply has always been to have a complete supply of everything a brewer could want. When you place your order online or when you come into our store, it's our goal to have everything on your list and more. One aspect of KeystoneHomebrew.com that we're really excited about is the ability to fulfill customers' exact grain bills. Do you hate to wait? Keystone Homebrew Supply can get your precious yeast and hops to you within just one day if you live between Connecticut and Virginia, and within 2 days east of the Mississippi. KeystoneHomebrew.com. Coupon code BNARMY. I'm Jason Harris, and I approve this message.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Games.
Now serving patient number 189. Number 189 to the counter, please.
Now back to Dr. Homebrew.
It's Beardy time.
Shit.
Beardy.
What made you want to brew a Helles, Warren?
Because I wanted to have a nice drinkable beer at home in a keg-sized volume.
In keg-sized volume?
And German styles are my favorite styles.
I agree. You're going to Germany soon, right?
That's the idea.
Oh, you don't know? You still don't know if you're going?
Well, we're waiting on a friend who's in the Army to get actually stationed there. So that way we have a place to stay for free.
She's not stationed there yet.
Correct. She's currently in South Korea. But last I heard, in March, she's supposed to get the transfer. And then after March, it's just whenever.
Where in Germany?
It's going to be, I believe, about an hour and a half north of Munich.
Oh, right outside Bamberg.
Yes.
Oh,
close to
yeah.
close
You
to
need
Bamberg.
to go visit.
Yeah.
You need to go visit.
I
need to go visit.
I really want to.
Yeah.
I also have some friends that live in Bonn, which is really close to Dortmund and Cologne.
Cologne, yeah.
So I'm really excited about going over there too, because Kolsch is one of my favorites.
That's fun, yeah. Tour all the Kolsch breweries.
Right. Yeah. I plan on taking notes because I don't intend on remembering anything about. I will just
get your little recorder
until there's no coaster left for them to cut notches in or punch holes in.
They
That's
have
when I'll be
a lot
done.
of coasters.
Oh wait, they'll bring another coaster if I fill it.
I'm sure. They'll just staple them
Coaster, they
together.
bring you another one.
Yeah. They'll be good. Whatever they need to get that American dollar.
All right.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I wish I was going. I hope you'll have fun.
I do too.
Okay, who wants to start with Warren's Helles? Is this a recipe you just kind of made up, or did you steal it
it's a
from
really
someone?
simple beer. I just did 100% Weirmann Pils. It was I believe I was shooting for about 12 gallons post-boil. So I did about 22 pounds of Weirmann Pils and 5 ounces of Hallertau Mittelfruit in 60 minutes. And then it was all Yeast 2035 American lager.
60 minutes. 60-minute boil?
60-minute hop edition.
Oh,
I did a 90.
hop
I did a 90-minute boil.
Okay.
Wow, look at Lee judging you already.
That's right.
Yeah.
Judging
Really,
you
that's
already.
all
You're
you would
ignoring
do?
your boss's advice.
Yeah, listen to your boss,
Yeah.
dude.
No wonder this tastes like shit.
Right.
Yeah. So 90-minute boil, but 60-minute hop edition, and that was
All right.
it.
That's reasonable.
I did do some water adjustment. I actually used the water that we get at Heretic. I pulled it right out of the cold liquor tank. And then...
Because that's easy.
Right. I actually borrowed a couple of Jamel's old homebrew kegs to bring the water home, and then adjusted with calcium chloride and calcium sulfate to get a normal calcium ppm that we use at the brewery to get good flocculation. And so
how's that compared to Munich water? We're asking all this before we go over the beer. But yes.
Right. Yeah.
It's all right. We're in it. Why don't we talk about it?
That I don't know. I was just kind of targeting a ratio of chlorides to sulfites, leaning towards the chlorides. But so I think it was about maybe 12 grams of calcium chloride and 4 grams of gypsum. To make 12 gallons.
My ppm calculator's not working.
Right. Yeah. I let my brewing software do that. So that's what I did.
All right.
Okay, Lee.
All right.
You,
well,
start breaking this beer down.
I'll break this beer down. I would say some things are excellent in this beer. Sweet Pils malt aroma, crackery with a nice low noble hop aroma, sort of a little bit of lavender in there. Not picking up any esters, not picking up any sulfur. Those are good things. Just a little bit of a low spicy hop aroma in there. There's definitely some DMS in there. In fact, there's, I think, a fair amount of DMS in here.
Yeah.
I mean, the style allows a little because it's a Pils malt based thing, but I think this exceeds a little. It's a fairly strong note, and I'm also picking up just a little bit of diacetyl in the nose, I thought. So it's sort of hinting at maybe some ferment issues there. The appearance, it pours a medium-low white foam, which fades quickly to a low head. It needs some better retention and better foam size on the head. But other than that, brilliant beer. I mean, it's very, very clear.
Super clear, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a nice pale gold color. I mean, it's spot on for what you'd expect on a Hella. So it looks pretty. It just needs more head to it. Flavor, crisp Pils malt, medium with a medium DMS, get this backwards. A medium Pils malt flavor with a medium DMS flavor. It's way too high. Medium low hop flavor, spicy noble variety, kind of lavendery. No ferment esters. Balanced slightly to the malt, which is about right for the style. Finish is slightly sweet with lingering Pils malt, some hops, and some DMS. A little bit of diacetyl, and I wasn't really sure if I was picking up any acetaldehyde or not. I think it's mostly just diacetyl and a fair amount of DMS. So again, this is sort of hinting at maybe some ferment issues here. The mouthfeel, medium body, slightly slick, which is probably the diacetyl. Medium carbonation, not hot or astringent at all. Moderate creaminess was nice. Slight slickness was out of style, else it's really good for the mouthfeel. It pretty much comes across like a Helles there. For the overall impression, good recipe, well balanced, good Helles by the recipe. Ferment character is a little out of style. Too much DMS, more than acceptable for the style. Definitely some diacetyl in there, not that much, but that really shouldn't be there at all. So, I mean, for the DMS, we could talk about boil length, but you already went over that. 90 minutes should be enough. I don't know that that's the issue here.
I've got an idea of where that came in.
Okay, and you will tell us that. And the diacetyl is kind of suggesting maybe it didn't get a good diacetyl rest or it just generated too much of the stuff during the ferment. So you probably need to add a little more diacetyl rest for the boil. You're going to tell us why you think it was. I mean, the classic reasons would be insufficient boil or some sort of contamination, which you wouldn't expect. It tastes clean. I mean, it doesn't taste like there's any infection here at all. So my guess would be the boil. Let's see what Brian has to say.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what Lee said there too. That the malt character in the aroma is actually pretty nice. It's got a light, clean Pils malt aroma, a little low kind of graham crackery kind of hint, in there. It's nothing intense, but just a pleasant, smooth Pils malt. I thought I got a little hint of some banana-like ester in there, like just a faint bit. There was something a little funky in there, but definitely a faint bit of diacetyl, more than threshold there. A little buttery, but not intense. Not like wow. Hops in there pretty faint and
Did you write
a
that?
little spicy thing.
Did you write?
I couldn't figure out how to spell that, so I just said make that weird noise. Yeah. Low kind of floral and a little bit of spice maybe in the hops, but just very faint. Definitely like kind of medium low corn like DMS in there. I didn't get any acetaldehyde in there. No green apple, but yeah, definitely. Like smelling the inside of a can of corn from Green Giant corn after you've cooked it and you like go grab the can, you're gonna throw it away and you just sniff it. It's like a little bit like that, not intense, but it's enough there, like above where you want it to be.
Not intense, but intends.
Not intended, maybe, but.
No,
singular.
Shit.
Appearance-wise, pretty nice, brilliant. The right color, nice clarity, very brilliant. And had a low white head that faded after a little while. Maybe some of those kind of medium chain proteins have gone by the wayside one way or another. I don't know what's happening there, but it did fade fairly quickly. It didn't stick around too long, but otherwise, it's a pretty beer, nice and shiny, and some kind of bright highlights in it.
It's bad when they just keep focusing on how clear
it looks. Real nice.
It's such a pretty beer.
Yeah,
at least it doesn't have any head.
At least your beer looks good.
At least your beer looks good.
It's Grog Tag Award all over this.
Grog Tag.
We're giving it the Grog Tag Award just based on that. And because we're the only brewer.
Awesome.
It's definitely a malt balance with the Pils malt character sticking through. Definite sulfury DMS in the flavor. I got a chalky kind of minerally element in this too, with the medium dry finish. It's just has a weird impression to it in the water, kind of the flavors that are bouncing off the water in there. A little chalky tasting. Low hops overall, low bitterness, where it should be pretty much. Finishes, again, very dry. Lager ferment evident, but there's no acetaldehyde, and I'm really not getting as much diacetyl in the flavor. So it's a little lighter in the flavor, it seems like, but yeah, in the aroma, I got it right away. Body-wise, it's kind of light-bodied, medium-low carbonation, lightly creamy, a bit drying and chalky feeling in there too. The mouthfeel it doesn't quite feel right. So it seems to be a pretty decent recipe, decent Helles, but a couple of issues in the way. There's something a little odd about the water profile. It suggests using a moderate carbonate water with lower overall minerals. You don't want to get the chloride or the sodium or the even the calcium too high in that. If you get we were talking about water profiles. The Dortmund water has a lot higher calcium than Munich, and it almost has some kind of Dort-like tendencies in there. The way that what bitterness is there, that's playing off the minerals in the water. It's kind of interesting. So it's definitely off style for a Helles as far as the water profile goes, and what the malt and the hops are doing with that. And that dry chalkiness to it, it's just not quite right. But yeah, and there might be, again, you got to watch that fermentation. Make sure you're pitching a healthy, vigorous yeast from a reputable source, and keeping it happy for as long as you can. So but I gave it what did I give it? 29.
Oh, that's exactly what I gave it to.
Yeah,
it's a good.
There you go.
Fair to Midland. Helles.
I actually thought about having you judge it as a Dortmund export.
Yeah.
Might have picked up a couple extra points on that because of the mineral profile.
Why is that?
Right, exactly.
Just from the mineral?
Because of the mineral content. Because I agree with pretty much everything both of you guys said.
Then we would say, well, bump up the bitterness a little bit. And,
right.
And get rid of that DMS.
It's not quite
still.
an export either.
Yeah.
But
it's closer to that.
I thought it might
Helles.
score a little bit higher than Helles.
Well, this is one of the points of the show, right? Is to figure out how to enter this kind of stuff. So this would happen, I think, to any brewer.
Sure.
You kind of brew it and you adjust the water, and you don't really know what you're doing. And
sure. And I think I thought about saying judge this as an export, but it was like, well, I was shooting for a Helles, so just go ahead with that and see what happens. But I agree, it's closer to an export than a Helles because of the mineral content.
Which makes it, a little more crisp or something? A little lighter in body?
A little crisper, a little more mineral forward.
Okay.
Not necessarily lighter, I would say, but it helps balance out the maltiness a bit more. Yeah.
It affects the way the bitterness comes
is the worst
across.
flaw there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And the DMS, because I did a 90-minute boil, so theoretically that should have gotten rid of a lot of it. But what I did was a habit from just doing ales with just pale ale malt and everything. Once the boil's done, I put a lid on the kettle, covering pretty much most of it. Well, because what I do is I've got a whirlpool arm on my kettle, and so I put the lid on, and then I have a counterflow chiller, and so I just chill it running through the whirlpool arm with the lid on, just to keep the air out and everything else while it's chilling. But that's also trapping in all of the DMS that's forming before it gets down below 140.
Maybe you could hook up like a filtered vacuum cleaner to your
right.
That would fit inside your kettle.
I just need a HEPA filter. That way I can
HEPA filter.
I can let filtered air come in while it's cooling.
Yeah. I do kind of the same thing, but I usually don't cover it. The temp starts dropping down to about 185, 180. So it's a little cooler.
Yeah, I should have just covered it later. And so I think that's where a lot of the DMS came from, was I just put the lid on and then let it cool the whole way down.
Mm-hmm.
It should be fairly safe with a 90-minute boil if you drive it hard enough. But, you could go to a 120-minute boil just for fun. It might get a little more color then, too. But,
yeah.
Who knows? That's weird.
So that's as close as I can come to figuring out where the DMS would be coming from.
I always cover my beer, too, whatever it is.
I do the same thing.
I always put the lid on.
I thought it was more important to drive it off during the boil than it is during cooling.
It'll still form while it's hot.
Yeah.
As long as the wort's hot above about 140.
But I thought there was like a threshold or a time where you didn't have to worry about it because you drove it off. Is that not
During
accurate?
the boil, yeah. But if you cover it, you turn off the heat, it's still 212 in there. I mean, it's just stopping the boil.
There's still some SMM.
You cover it up, you're still
Right.
generating some DMS, and if it takes 15 minutes to cool it down,
Even though
to
you did a
140,
90-minute boil to drive off the precursors for it?
There's so much of the precursors, you're not going to drive it all off. Even.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, with a 90-minute, you're driving off more than you would in a 60.
Yeah.
But the goal is to just chill it as fast as possible.
Okay.
And so I think that's where quite a bit of that came. Is obviously still in the beer.
Yeah.
The diacetyl, I'm not totally sure about. I mean, because although I kind of got inspired to do this beer also because we had Dan Gordon on the session right before, and I was talking to him about doing a cold conditioning rest instead of at the end of primary and warming up 5 degrees or so to do a traditional the homebrewing diacetyl rest. At Gordon Biersch, they do a cold rest after primary, and we'll step it down a few degrees a day and hold it at 40 until all of the precursors of diacetyl are gone. And so I haven't really heard of any homebrewing people talking about doing that. And so
you wanted to be the first.
I
so
wanted
you could write
to be
a cool article about it.
Exactly. And so instead I get a 29 on Dr. Homebrew because I tried to be the cool guy.
Well, guess what?
Hey.
But yeah.
Kudos for trying, you know. I mean, it works for Gordon Biersch, obviously. They get rid of theirs, so yeah.
Yeah, but they know how to brew, so...
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. And they do lagers every day versus me who does it
Twice a year.
If
Right.
that. Right. And so I had a good, strong primary fermentation, so I thought I had a good chance, but obviously not. I did a primary at 50 degrees for 9 days, then stepped it down a couple degrees a day to 40, and then held it there for 2 weeks. I was doing tests where you take 2 samples of the beer and you heat one up to about 140 for about 10 minutes, and then cool it down to room temperature, and then you kind of smell the difference because that heating will rapidly convert the diacetyl precursors into diacetyl, so that way you can smell the two and see if there's a difference. And after 2 weeks, it got to the point where I couldn't really smell a difference, and so then I started stepping it down a couple degrees a day to 33, and then held it there for 3 weeks.
So that's that 140-degree range. That's the danger zone where they're really transferring. You want to get through that as quick as you can when you're bringing your temperature down. Yeah,
I don't know. That almost doesn't sound worth it. I mean, you could do a diacetyl rest in a few days and start bringing your temperature down. This one, you waited 2 weeks and it didn't really work.
Yeah, but it accomplishes.
It's an interesting experiment, though.
Sure, I mean, and you're accomplishing other things during that time with different compounds settling out and the yeast falling out and everything else quicker than if you're at 58 or something during your diacetyl rest. But obviously, in this case, it didn't improve the beer.
yeah.
Well, maybe it was worse.
Sounds like it was worse.
Yeah, it could have been worse.
Yeah.
You never know.
And then just one weird thing is the yeast just didn't want to settle out even after all that time. I had to use 4 times the dosage of Biofine that we use at Heretic in order to get it even as clear as it is. It was just super murky.
Well, you did a good job.
Before. So it looks
very clear.
It looks real nice. I don't know if you guys caught on to that, but
it looks really good.
It does look very nice, yeah.
So I did
that American lager yeast should settle out, but next time use the German lager yeast, and
that's one of my first changes that I'm going to do.
And maybe
you might
try that diacetyl rest again, and I'm sure that Gordon Biersch is using the German yeast, yeah,
they're definitely use a strain from Weinstefan.
Yeah. So use that one and go for it again and give it a try. I mean, it's worth a shot. Maybe go a little higher on the temperature. I don't know. You could try for that diacetyl rest just to make sure you get it all out of there and go a little longer. Be patient with it. I don't know. Sounds like you spent a lot of time and work on this beer. I hate to bag on it, but it was.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
You should.
Warren's married. He's used to it.
That's all right.
He's used to that, right? Yeah. And the extra Biofine might have stripped out some of the hop flavor.
Oh, that's true too. Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
sure.
It's not bad, but it could use a touch more. Yeah.
Thanks, Warren, for bringing your beer in.
You're welcome.
You can stick around and commercially calibrate against Celebration?
Yeah, I feel like Celebration would be a good calibration beer for the Hella style.
I think so, too.
Excellent.
All right, well, stay with us then, Warren. You're more than welcome to. And then you at home in podcast land, hang out at the end of the jump. Go grab your Celebration Ale because it's so delicious. Everyone should have some. And we'll be back right after this.
Do you know the 3 most important rules in brewing? Sanitation, sanitation, and sanitation. And no one does it better than 5-Star Chemicals. 5-Star knows sanitation. You can only sanitize clean equipment. And 5-Star knows how to clean, too. For craft brewers and home brewers, 5-Star has what you need to keep your fermenters, serving tanks, kegs, and draft lines sparkling and free of any beer-spoiling bacteria. PBW, caustic, acid cleaners, Star San, SaniClean, lubricants and defoamers, pH stabilizers, and more. 5-Star Chemicals has cleaning supplies, safety supplies, heat exchangers, pumps, hoses, and valves. And 5-Star is proud to offer eco-friendly products that exceed customer expectations. If you have a cleaning problem, you need the 5-Star solution. Visit 5starchemicals.com or call 800-782-7019. 800-782-7019 and get the 5-Star treatment today. As a brewer, you already don't settle for second best. You want great tasting beer and you want great equipment to make it with. So don't settle for the second best grain mill. You want a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware. Monster Mills are tough, come in 2 and 3 roller designs, and are made right here in the USA from superior materials for longer lasting performance. Pick the mill that's right for you at monsterbrewinghardware.com and take Bevo's advice.
Trust me, it's always better to have a bigger tool than you think you need.
Monster Mills have the best warranty in the business. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Visit monsterbrewinghardware.com now and check out all the mills and mill accessories. Don't settle for second best. Get a Monster Mill from Monster Brewing Hardware.
That's it. I've had it. I am never putting hops in my beer again.
What? Why?
It's just too ridiculous. Insane prices, stupid contracts, high shipping costs, crappy selection.
Dude, you need Nico Brew.
Nico Brew will rock your f***ing face right the f*** off your f***ing skull. $5 shipping to all 50 states. Plus fantastic international rates get you low prices on Nico Brew's great selection of hops and more. Whether you're a home brewer, a pro brewer, or a homebrew shop owner, Nico Brew can get you the hops you need in increments big and small, single orders, spot buys, or full contracts. And there's only one place to join the uber special secret elite bare bones club where you'll get the best deals anywhere.
Holy shit.
NicoBrew.com. NIKOBREW. Nico Brew, your bare bones buddy in the brewing business.
Have you ever dreamed of attending the World Brewing Academy? This year, thanks to Lalamond and Danstar, one lucky brewer will make that dream a reality for free. Lalamond and Danstar invite you to enter the Beer School 2015 contest. One lucky grand prize winner will receive fully paid tuition to the 2015 World Brewing Academy web-based concise course in brewing technology worth almost $4,000. From now until December 13th, 2014, every Danstar yeast packet you use is your ticket to enter. Visit danstaryeast.com for the details and to print your official entry form. There's no limit on the number of times you can enter, so get brewing with Danstar and get your entries in to the Danstar 2015 Beer School Contest. Whether you want to build your home brewing skills or build a career as a professional brewer, this course will change the way you think of beer and brewing. Enter at danstaryeast.com and get the dry yeast advantage with Danstar and Lalamond Premium Brewing Yeast and enter to win.
And now to the finale of Dr. Homebrew.
All right, thanks for sticking with us. Before we get started, I do want to tell you about the brand new book from the Brewers Association called A Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery. If you're interested in opening a brewery, man, this guide is the guide for you. That has Dick Cantwell of Elysian Brewing up there in Seattle, covering ingredients, financing, business plans, quality assurance, sustainability practices, distribution, wastewater, and more for any prospective brewpub and packaging brewery owner. He walks you through planning and execution required to turn craft brewing dreams into your monetary reality, folks. This is what it's going to be, man. The brewing world is full of a lot of pits and perils and all this kind of stuff, but Dick Cantwell walks you through it. It's the Brewers Association Guide to Starting Your Own Brewery. Please check it out. It will definitely help you get on the right path to proper brewery management.
That's right. You got to keep that cash flow flowing to keep that dream alive.
That's true. Wow. Lee is a silver-tongued devil over there. Look at that.
Yeah.
I think Lee's going to start doing my life.
You have plenty of time to keep that dream alive when you're living in a van down by the river.
Right. That's the other dream.
Right. You just don't wake Lee up.
That's the dream where you wake up screaming in the middle of the night.
Right.
I've been told by more than a few brewers it's a lifestyle thing.
Yeah, absolutely. But hey, man,
but a lot of
more power to you. If you want to do
enjoy
it and you want to do it right, this guide will help you out. That's for sure.
I live in the van so my house can have all the fermenters.
My house is a licensed brewery.
Yeah.
I have to live here.
Well, the way Beverly is, tightened up in there with she has a parka on in her little booth.
Wow.
Where we can log her. I know you can't hear me because you don't have your headphones on.
You can see her eyes out of her jacket.
Yeah. We can log her in her little soundproof booth, which is why she can't hear me. She said, I can't hear you. Yeah, because you don't have your headphones on.
That parka would make for great temperature control.
I'm sure it would. It's not doing a very good job for her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Looks like a real thin parka. Or making fun of you. Okay. She heard that.
Keeping her at a constant 66 degrees back there.
All right, so commercial calibration. Why do we do commercial calibration, Brian?
Well, this is so that the it's an interactive score sheet. Usually, that's
not a test.
The
There's
intent of
wrong.
the show
Yeah.
is interactive score sheet, but
Right.
it tends to be with somebody that the listeners could care less about. Like some brewer from Pennsylvania or from Heretic Brewing Company.
Right. Yeah. Someone has to win tonight, so that's why we're doing the commercial calibration.
But this way, you, the listener, get to listen and taste with us, and we try to pick beers that are, going to be commonly available and are classic examples of the style. So, since Celebration Ale from Sierra Nevada is a classic example of the IPA currently in the current guidelines, we decided to, and I had some in my fridge this morning that I've been sipping and enjoying this time of year, as I always do.
Brian's favorite breakfast beer.
I also like brewing a clone of it and trying to duplicate this beer, which
makes me work faster.
So yeah, it's a fresh hop beer. It's kind of fun this time of year, and I thought it'd be fun to do this one. So
yeah, I agree. I really enjoy it, and we want to do it so you can learn at home what flavors we're tasting. Like Brian is saying, it's very hard for us to sit here and taste Warren's Helles and have you go, oh, I kind of get that. I mean, Brian and Lee are pretty descriptive, and I think they do a really good job figuring out what the flavor profile is and kind of translating it to you. But unless you have that particular beer in front of you, it's a little difficult. So
what does ass taste like?
Yeah, I don't even understand. What does mean?
Well, I just put my ass in it.
He did. That's true.
Yeah.
Post-boil. That's how he got the filter.
Right. That might be everything that you were tasting.
All his ass hair. Just filtered out all the... It's really great. So you can go buy Celebration because it's relatively fresh across the country. Sierra Nevada have a pretty wide distribution network. And it'll pretty much taste the same depending on how it was treated as we're drinking here. So hopefully we can calibrate your palates to a little bit of what we're tasting. And we can all be better brewers.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
That sounds so nice.
Yes, and tasters.
And tasters.
Yes.
Shall we jump into this beer?
Do it. Brian,
right.
You're ready, dude.
Aroma-wise, I'm getting medium classic citrusy hops with a faintly piney and lightly floral background notes in there. A little bit of a nice resiny thing in there that's really pleasant. And malt-wise, it's got a medium-low, sweet, and lightly caramelly malt. A little bit of toast in there underneath, but the esters are just pleasant, kind of neutral, fruity esters, a little kind of apple and citrus, nothing too intense there on the esters front, but just nice ale esters, smooth, no faults, clean. Appearance-wise, it's a nice, pretty deep reddish amber color with brilliant clarity, and the head is off-white. It starts kind of medium and has fairly good retention in there. It sticks around, clings to the glass a little bit, looks nice. Some of the hops might be contributing to that.
You hear that, Warren? Everything a beer should be.
Okay.
Okay.
Mine looks real nice. It's clear.
No, that's right.
And gold.
Yeah.
Flavor-wise, it's a little bit malty for an IPA. The malt is kind of medium.
It is, right?
Medium low, but it's rich in flavor for what's there. It's there's some caramel, some bread, a little bit of toast. It's clean and no harshness or biting quality to the malt. Just smooth and but it's definitely balanced. To the hops somewhat. It's for an IPA. It's malt on, towards the maltier side, but still reaches that balance of those citrusy, resiny hops are coming out over the top of that malt. What were you gonna say?
I think that's why it kind of, for me, it stands out among red beers or red IPAs, or because it has that caramel, but then it has that toasty quality also, and I think it kind of reduces the sweetness factor that you can kind of get, if I can make up a term, with when you use a big charge of crystal malt.
Because you're a crystal hater.
I hate crystals. Yeah. The holistic healing power of crystals.
The dark crystal.
But you know what I mean? It puts it in balance and kind of it layers it with the hop and kind of puts an end cap on it.
Some complexity in there to the malt, even though it's a hop balanced beer. So it's clean. It finishes medium dry. The hops linger into the aftertaste. Those the citrusiness is just a classic, kind of centennial and Chinook kind of flavors in there that a little bit of citrusy and what's the word I'm looking for? Grapefruity kind of flavors. So clean ale, no faults here either in the flavor, and medium bodied as far as the body goes. Medium high carbonation. It's a little peppy. Maybe a faint hop drive astringency, which you always kind of get in IPAs. Not harsh or anything in this case. Mm-hmm. It's just you get a little bit of that feel on your tongue, but it's.
Would it be more pronounced because it's fresh hop? Like it's a little more kind of organic, which is a dumb thing to say.
It might be a little more pronounced because there's a lot of hops in there, and because the carbonation is pushing it a little hard too. But it's not harsh. It's not very creamy or anything, but it's got maybe a little bit of a carbonic thing attacking in the mouthfeel, but not harsh. So just a bit of that, and it's. And you kind of like that with an IPA too. It's like a little like, okay, boom, hey, this kind of hits your palate, and it's still pretty fresh in the season. It maybe came out a month ago or something like that. It's not been out.
I think beginning of November or something.
Not been
like
out too long.
No, not at all.
Yeah. Overall, just I find this to be a lovely beer. We have a pretty good bottle of it here. It's definitely malty for what you consider modern IPAs these days, which seem to get lighter and lighter. So maybe more of a kind of a classic IPA where you could allow a little more malt and a little more intensity in that flavor balancing with the hops, where it's not just like, okay, here's your hops and there's a little malty thing underneath it supporting it that's just barely there. This has some pretty substantial malt, and I like that. I think it meets the style. It's perhaps a bit heavier on the caramel flavors for what a IPA is considered to be these days, but and like you said, next year there's going to be style guidelines where there's all different kinds of IPAs, and as people have created 16 different kinds of IPAs, the judging community just has to keep up with them, and this is more of a reddish IPA, and it's pleasant for what it is, and
maybe there'll be a good one.
But that
maybe one day there'll be a good one.
If that malt wasn't as intense and caramelly, the hops would shine through a little better. So I think it's like it's advertised as a fresh hop beer, which is also there's a distinction as far as fresh hop versus wet hop beer, and so our listeners know a fresh hop beer is a beer that has been made with hops that were just harvested this year, and they can't brew the beer until they come out, and they're processed and packaged for storage, into and they're not they're dried and they're sent to the brewery like they would be if they're just packaged for storage for whatever.
Yeah.
It's not like a fresh hop IPA, which is wet hop IPA, where they take them straight from the field to the brewery within hours and drop them in the beer. So you're getting all the liquid that still remains in the hops, liquid, whatever moisture content is still in the hops stays in it while they're brewing it. So it gives a little different flavor profile, but it's it's been minimally processed. It's still about as fresh as you're going to get for hop flavors, and it's pretty lovely. So yeah. I like the beer. I gave it a 42, and I thought it was a good bottle of it, and it meets the style. It's just slightly more caramelly than you expect from modern IPAs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think this one is kind of hard to do.
I've always kind of thought it's like a little bit of an oddball. If you look through all the other lists of the IPAs and the current BGCP guidelines, it's a little bit of an outlier. But if you read through the style guidelines, it does fit, and you can allow up, to a deep amber, kind of color in an IPA.
Mm-hmm.
It's I think even the new guidelines, the suggested ones, it says the color range from medium gold to light reddish amber. So it's still
a little out
in there.
Yeah,
on the dark side, but it works.
Lee,
it's good.
What do you think, man?
It's good beer. I
Great.
would say I agree with most of what Brian said. Sort of lime and grapefruit, a little bit of pine in the hops.
Ooh, lime. Yeah.
Yeah, lime
Okay.
zest.
Yeah.
Moderate to low hop intensity in the aroma for an IPA. It's very sort of for an IPA, and it's something to keep in mind. This is not a new beer. This is not last year's brewery.
Right.
I don't know if they've changed the recipe over time or not.
They say they don't.
And maybe they haven't, and I would believe it, because this is very much like an IPA that probably existed before the great IPA boom of the early 2000s hit us.
Mm.
It was a little more
good old
even
days.
balance between the malt and the hops.
Yeah.
And this one definitely has a higher expression of the crystal malt than most, which sort of puts it kind of outside what most people think of as an IPA these days in some way. But it's,
This bottle was
on
packaged
its own merit, it's great.
11, 18, 14.
Sounds about
Wow.
right. Just before Thanksgiving.
And they first brewed this in 1981.
Whew.
Yeah.
This would have been way ahead of its time then.
Absolutely, yeah.
No, it's a very nice
I
beer.
thought they changed the recipe every year.
Maybe you're thinking of Anchor Christmas? I don't know. That's their big thing, is that they never change this recipe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Anchor Christmas is different every year.
Sure, yeah.
This
Yeah.
one I don't think is.
Oh, okay.
It seems to me like it's gotten a tiny bit lighter over the years, though. Like,
Yeah,
Not drastic changes.
but it might be
but
a
they
process
tweaked
thing.
it a little bit.
but
each year.
I think it's just our palate shift.
I think it's just my eyes fading.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
That
don't
might
see
be.
as well as I
Yeah.
used to. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell it to Warren.
Right.
Mine is faded already.
Yeah.
Well, you see better than you used to.
Oh, right. Yeah, it got better.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a nice beer. I mean, it's compared to any of the current crop of IPAs, it's maltier. It's very caramel malt forward. It's on the dark side. I wouldn't say it's out. It's malty. It's probably pushing or maybe passing the edge of what people consider to be a sort of an IPA by current styles. But on its own merits, it's great. I mean, it is sold. Remember, it's sold as a Christmas ale, basically.
Right.
You could almost view this as a Category 23, where it's a basic IPA with the specialty edition being a little extra crystal malt. And actually, that will work great for describing this beer. It's really nice. It's clean. It's well balanced. It is not harsh or over the top or anything like that. It's got a wonderful hop presentation. It's got a nice dollop of crystal malt flavor underneath. It's got a little bit of, I get kind of some red berry esters in here. It's a really pleasant balance. It's a very nice beer.
Yeah.
It is really not quite to style by current IPA guidelines, and I probably Nazi'd it a bit down for that. I gave it a 36, but I think on its own merits, it's better than that.
Yeah, I agree.
Gave it an 8 for an overall, which would put it up, if you just multiply that up to 50, I give it about a 40 points. It's just not quite a current IPA, but I don't care. I like it.
Yeah, maybe that's why I like it.
Yeah. This is much more like the IPAs you would have gotten back in the 90s.
I think so, too. And Warren, I don't know if you and I were talking about this, but it seems like breweries that were around in the 80s and 90s, but probably more so the 80s, seem to do more crystal malt beers, like Rogue, which is my favorite brewery of all time. Considering this was brewed in 81, the first time I think Sierra Nevada can fall into that category. Sam Adams, I think
Stone.
Stone, sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's something people do less. I mean, IPAs these days are pushing to no crystal malt. I mean, it's just
and I think a lot of beers are in general.
And just blazing IPAs.
Yeah, hop delivery mechanism. Yeah.
Here's your hops. And kind of nowadays, East Coast is kind of the term given to the sweeter finishing IPAs. Not necessarily as dark a crystal as this one is, but I mean, sometimes I guess that have kind of the medium crystal character.
Yeah.
But now West Coast is kind of pushing the style, like you're saying, how it's not quite an IPA, which to me, I would score it higher as a 23 specialty.
Like the IPA plus crystal malt
right, exactly.
edition. Yeah, no,
Versus
I
if it was just
that.
IPA, it'd just be like, this isn't really an IPA according to the BJCP.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it's kind of dancing on the pin here, but
right. Because
but
to me, especially, I get a lot in the aroma too. Even the crystal, like it makes the pine with a bit of grapefruit, but it's sweet even in the aroma, which you can get sweetness, the apparent sweetness from hops if you hop enough. But this is a particularly caramely sweetness to me that comes across.
It is. That's what's in there,
and it's fine.
Yeah, and the other thing is, I mean, this is just a classic Cascade Centennial beer.
Sure.
There's no hop in here that was bred within the last 40 years.
Right.
These are all old school, for America, these are all old school hops.
Yeah.
And it's a very nice blend.
The one thing I don't like of it's 7% or 6.8.
It is almost 7, yeah.
Fuck.
That's totally an IPA range.
Yeah, I hate it. Drop that shit.
And it's just the thing you need when going home to visit the relatives on holiday.
Right.
It's the winter warmer.
Either for them or for you.
Mom's a winter warmer.
Bevo needs one. She's looking like the Michelin Man in there.
My God, look at her. Did you call her fat?
Well, just her white puffy jacket. Looks like the tires, right?
Beverly.
She can't even hear me. It doesn't matter.
No.
She's watching House.
She's retracted her head into her jacket like she's a turtle.
She has 3 laptops in there and 2 monitors, and she's watching House on a Kindle.
It's lupus, Bevo. It's always lupus.
It's always
lupus.
Well, thank you guys for the commercial calibration. We have a couple housekeeping items to go through. The winner of the Grog Tag $40 gift certificate for the At Least Your Beer Will Look Good.
Who could it be?
Gift certificate should be Warren, but I feel like
we're send to Sierra Nevada.
No. I feel like, I don't know, maybe Warren, since he is an employee of the Brewing Network.
My beer did look good. That was the only thing it had
But
going
I
for it.
I don't know if you should get the. I don't know if you should get a prize because.
no, right.
You're
Employees
my
are
point.
usually.
My point was that wasn't the problem with my beer.
No, I know, and my point is that you're an employee, and you know,
right.
How would you feel about giving your gift certificate to someone in the chat room?
Great.
All right,
actually.
Yeah.
And then
Give it to Sierra Nevada.
I would actually appreciate sending it to Sierra Nevada.
Well, here we go. So we have a new sponsor, High Gravity Homebrew. And they are coming on to, they feel like it's unbalanced right now. So they want to give a prize pack to the highest scoring beer.
All right.
And which in this case would be Sierra Nevada, but they are a commercial brewery and they don't really. So I think I should give the High Gravity Homebrewing and Winemaking Supplies pack to someone in the chat room.
Great.
So
Although I did get 2 29s.
Yeah.
So that's,
you think that makes you
by
special?
my math, that's like 58. And so I think Sierra Nevada's highest was 42.
Well, maybe.
And his beer already did look good, so he needs the other prize more.
Well, I don't think you should get anything, Warren.
That's
You should
fine.
get shit.
I don't deserve anything.
No. And so, speaking of deserving, I'm glad you brought that up. The person in the chat room who is going to get both of your gifts, not one but 2.
One person is getting both?
One person is getting both. This person is here at every show. They're in the chat room at every show. Don't look behind you. There's no one behind you.
Well, you said they were here.
Right, in the chat room.
Oh.
Yeah, listening to every show. Lulu Gumshoe, ladies and gentlemen.
all right.
So if you want to be like Lulu, pay attention to our show. Come in the chat room. Hang out with us.
Yeah.
So, Lulu, I will get all your stuff to you. Thanks to GrogTag. You go to grogtag.com and use code BNARMY to get 10% off. And thank you to highgravitybrew.com. Go ahead and check them out. They're the newest sponsor of Dr. Homebrew. Go show them some love. They've been around for a long time, man. And they do a lot of cool stuff sponsoring for the NHC and all that kind of stuff. So check them out. Desiree over there is a really nice person. And they have some good stuff, man. Highgravitybrew.com.
And woohoo for Lulu.
Way to go, Lulu.
Woohoo for Lulu.
Yeah.
That's done. And then, while you're poking around the internet, head over to the AHA and become a member if you haven't, or buy a membership for a gift. If you forget to buy someone a gift, like a friend or a neighbor or you're a lawyer or you're a parole officer or something like that, get them a gift certificate to, not a gift certificate, but a gift membership to the AHA. They help us in homebrewing rights. They help us in homebrewing education. You get access to a magazine, and all they ask of you is just to join their little organization. It's not hard, and you get so much out of it.
Yeah, like discounts at most of the good beer bars and brew pubs around the country. I mean, you'll pay yourself back out of that.
If it's a place you want to be, you'll probably get a discount.
That's true.
Being an AHA member.
That's right.
Yeah.
Plus, homebrewing being legal in like almost
in like 100
all
states.
I think it's all the states now.
They finally got all the states.
That's great.
Alabama.
There's something
way to hang in there.
Yeah, good job, Alabama.
They're doing the Lord's work.
So anyway, check them out. AHA. You guys know all about them. Thank you once again to our sponsor, 5-Star. We couldn't do it without you guys. 5starchemicals.com, everybody. Check them out. And, go be nice to all of our sponsors. They're all really nice people, man. And they want to help you make some good beer. So, Warren, thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks, Warren.
Bringing your beer.
Yeah.
That's what you call it, your beer?
Yeah. I'll bring a keg over to your house so you can help finish it.
Oh, that'd be great. I really like drinking terrible beer.
I mean, if you like corn...
I don't. Well, I do, but on the cob. I'm more of a cob guy than like a cream guy.
Eat it with salsa. It'll taste like chips.
Yeah, salsa.
Is it salsa weather? See, this is my problem.
California.
We could ask Bevo if she was listening.
Yeah, no, she's watching House.
Oh, right.
Bevo, it's lupus. It's always lupus. Lupus. Or ticks. Lyme disease.
Oh, one time it was ticks. There was
not lupus.
There was a tick in a girl's vagina.
Oh, wow.
And the House pulled it out in the elevator. Oh. It was a very intense episode. I saw that.
Sounds like an intense episode.
Speaking of ticks.
Yeah.
Dr. Homebrew.
Yeah. Thanks, Warren.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
First for the Weather Channel, now we're like...
Right, yeah.
If you want to come on Dr. Homebrew and have this kind of riveting conversation...
Yeah, don't say what he did.
Shoot me an email, jp@thebrewingnetwork.com. We're looking to fill Warren's spot now.
Yeah.
We're looking for a few good beers.
Yeah, we are.
Bad ones, too.
That's why I'm not coming back.
Right. Thanks, everybody. Brian, Lee, appreciate it very much. Beverly, thanks for freezing in there. And thanks all of you for listening. And we'll catch you later on Dr. Homebrew, everybody. Take care.